Hello, dear listeners. Welcome to our channel. Take a deep breath. Find a comfortable place. Today, we are not just practicing English. We are stepping into a powerful journey of determination and courage. This is the story of Leo and the harsh but necessary truth he learned. The greatest rewards in life are never free. Chapter 1. The Town of Whispers and Dreams. Our story unfolds in Whispering Valley, a small, quiet town nestled deep within rolling, misty mountains. The air here was always cool, smelling of pine and cold stone. In this town lived Leo, a young man, only 20 years old, with eyes that held a fire much bigger than the valley itself. Leo didn't just have dreams, he had a vision. He didn't want a small job. He wanted to own a chain of successful restaurants and become a respected entrepreneur. But the reality of Whispering Valley was harsh. It was a place where opportunities were scarce, and hope often faded with the evening mist. Leo's family, the Martins, was struggling. His father, Mark, was a mechanic. His hands were always stained with grease, a constant physical reminder of their financial hardship. His mother, Claire, took on every odd job she could find, mainly cleaning houses, just to make ends meet. And then there was Sophie, Leo's 10-year-old sister, who looked up to him as her unwavering hero. He often saw the silent hope in her small face, and it was that hope that fueled his desperate ambition. One cold evening, the kind of evening where the stars shine too bright and too far away, Leo sat outside their small wooden house. He was staring at the distant, unmoving mountains. He felt the heavy weight of his family's future pressing down on his shoulders. He whispered to himself, the words barely audible against the night silence, "I want to give my family a better life. But how do I start when we barely have enough to survive the next day?" This was his deep, constant internal struggle. The gap between his massive vision and his very limited reality. Chapter 2. The Harsh Truth from a Father. The next morning, Leo, driven by the desperation of the night before, shared his grand, ambitious plans with his father. Mark, the father, listened patiently, carefully wiping grease from his old wrench. When Leo finished speaking, with all his youthful energy and detailed vision, Mark simply sighed. It was a long, tired sigh that carried the weight of 20 years of struggle. Mark looked at his son, not with anger, but with deep, realistic love. He spoke slowly, every word carrying a lifetime of experience. "Leo, dreams are beautiful, but they are not free. If you want something, anything of real value in this world, you have to be ready to fight for it. Start with what you have. Even if it feels painfully small, start there." Leo was silent. He had expected encouragement, maybe a small loan, but he received a harsh truth. He spent the next entire day walking the dusty paths of the valley, thinking deeply about his father's words. Start with what you have. Then, as he walked past the park, an idea, small but brilliant, struck him with the clarity of sunlight. He suddenly remembered the daily complaints he often heard. People in the town loved fresh, warm bread, but the nearest decent bakery was miles away, requiring a tedious, time-consuming trip. The need is there, Leo realized. The demand is clear. He decided his starting point would be simple. He would sell fresh bread locally, right in his own town. But, as always, the problem of capital immediately presented itself. Leo had zero savings. He couldn't even afford the first batch of bread. The obstacle was real. Chapter 3. The Grumpy Gatekeeper. Taking a decision that felt huge and terrifying, Leo decided to approach the source, Mr. Anderson, the owner of the distant bakery. The walk was miles long. By the time Leo reached the bakery, his feet were aching, but his resolve was steel. Mr. Anderson was famous in the region. a grumpy, shrewd old man who rarely, if ever, trusted anyone new. His reputation preceded him. He trusted paper, not promises. Leo took a deep breath, smoothing his worn shirt. He approached the counter, his heart pounding a frantic rhythm against his ribs. Leo, spoken with slight nervousness but firm confidence. "Mr. Anderson, good morning. I have an unconventional proposal for you." Mr. Anderson just raised one skeptical eyebrow, waiting, arms crossed over his flour-dusted apron. Leo, continuing with sincerity. "Sir, I want to sell your bread in my town. It is a long walk and the people need it, but I don't have the money to buy the bread up front. I am asking you to take a chance on me for just one single week." Mr. Anderson squinted at the young man, his eyes sharp and analytical. Mr. Anderson, spoken with a low, deep growl. "And why, young man, should I risk my product, my livelihood, on your promise? What guarantee do I have?" Leo stood tall, meeting the old man's gaze directly. He knew this moment was the pivot point of his entire life. Leo, with passionate conviction. "My guarantee is my determination, sir. I promise you I will work harder than anyone you know. I will prove myself through tireless effort. If I fail, you will lose 1 week's bread. But if I succeed, you will gain a loyal customer who will buy your bread every single day." The pause that followed stretched, filled only by the distant hum of the bakery's massive oven. Mr. Anderson looked away, then back. He saw no arrogance, only hungry resolve. Mr. Anderson, after a minute of intense silence. "All right, I'll give you bread for 1 week, but listen carefully. If you fail to pay me back, even by 1 penny, do not bother coming here ever again. Our deal is based solely on your word. Do not break it." Leo's heart leaped. He had been given his first crucial chance. The opportunity wasn't free. It cost him his word, his pride, and his commitment. Chapter 4. The Tireless Hustle. Early the next morning, before the first hint of orange sunlight touched the mountaintops, Leo was back at the bakery. He carried the fresh, still warm loaves in heavy sacks back to Whisperwind Valley. He set up a simple stand near the town park. He didn't just sell bread, he sold energy and enthusiasm. He greeted every single person passing by with a genuine, infectious smile, shouting, "Fresh bread, warm, delicious, straight from the oven. Come and taste." At first, people were hesitant. They were used to the long walk. They didn't trust this new, eager young man. Leo's strategy was immediate and smart. He offered free samples. He cut small pieces of the warm, fragrant crust. The moment people tasted the quality, their skepticism melted away. Soon, he had his first customer, then his second. The line slowly grew. By the late afternoon, every single loaf was sold. Leo had made his small profit, and more importantly, he had enough money to cover the cost of the next day's bread. That evening, exhausted but euphoric, he returned to Mr. Anderson's bakery. He placed the exact amount of money on the counter. The old man simply looked at the cash, then back at Leo. "Mr. Anderson, you kept your word. You are a rare kind of young man. Come back tomorrow." From that moment on, Leo's life became a routine of relentless work. He woke up at 4 a.m., or often earlier, walked to the bakery, carried the heavy load, and sold with passion until every crumb was gone. After 2 months of this back-breaking schedule, he achieved his first major milestone. He had saved enough money for a small, rickety cart. This meant he could transport twice as much bread, cutting his effort in half and doubling his potential profit. Chapter 5. The Next Level of Fear. One day, while stacking his loaves, an elderly, respected customer named Mrs. Helen paused by his cart. Mrs. Helen, with a kind smile. "Leo, you are wonderful at selling, but tell me, young man, Why don't you bake your own bread? If you bake, you control everything, and your profit will grow enormously." This idea was exactly what Leo needed to hear. It excited him more than anything, but it also induced a new kind of paralyzing fear. Leo was a salesman, a carrier, a hustler, but he was not a baker. He had never touched flour or yeast in his life. This was the moment of profound realization. He recalled his father's words again. Nothing is free. Leo realized that success wasn't just about selling. It was about risk, knowledge, and growth. To stay where he was, selling Mr. Anderson's bread, was safe. But to move forward, to fulfill that huge vision he carried, he had to take the most terrifying leap yet. He had to become a master of the craft itself. He couldn't rely on anyone else's product anymore. He spent days wrestling with this internal conflict. The anxiety was almost physical. What if he failed? What if his bread was awful? He could lose all the money and effort he had invested. But the alternative was worse. Staying small, safe, and ordinary. He knew he needed a teacher, and there was only one man who commanded the kind of skill and knowledge he required. Chapter 6. Paying the Price for Knowledge. The next morning, after delivering his payment to Mr. Anderson, Leo decided to be completely honest. He found the old man mixing dough in the early light. Leo, with deference and respect. "Mr. Anderson, I am here today not just as your customer, but as your student. I need to ask you something vital. Can you teach me how to bake?" Mr. Anderson stopped kneading, his expression hardening, his eyes narrowed. "Mr. Anderson," his voice sharp, almost angry. "Teach you? Why should I teach you? If you bake, you won't buy from me anymore. That is terrible for my business. You are asking me to train my own future competitor." The accusation stung, but Leo understood his logic. He stood firm and spoke from the heart. Leo, sincere and humble. "Sir, you are completely right. You have every reason to refuse. But I want you to know this. I will never forget the man who gave me my first chance when I had nothing but a promise. If I succeed, I will make sure my success helps your bakery too. You trusted me with money. Please trust me with knowledge." Mr. Anderson looked at the young man for a long, quiet moment. He saw the integrity shining past the fear. He knew Leo was asking for something far more valuable than a simple loan. He was asking for the secret to a lifetime of work. "Mr. Anderson," a slight smile appearing for the first time. "Fine, but Leo, listen carefully. Baking isn't easy. It demands time, pain, and absolute, relentless hard work. If you are ready to pay that price, I will teach you." The lessons began the next day at 3 a.m. Leo was in the bakery before the moon had set. Mr. Anderson, the master, showed him the sacred process, how to mix the flour with precision, how to knead the dough until his hands screamed in pain, and how to control the oven's fierce heat perfectly. Leo struggled. His hands were raw from the kneading. His first batches were disasters. Some were hard as stones, others sank in the middle, soft and unusable. One particularly bad morning, after ruining a huge batch, Leo sat on the cold floor. Defeated. Leo, internal thought full of despair. "Maybe I am not meant for this. Maybe I should just stick to selling. Maybe I should give up." But the image of his family, his hard-working father, his mother and Sophie, flashed in his mind. He remembered the truth. Dreams are not free. He realized every failed loaf was a lesson paid for, a mistake that taught him something new about heat, moisture, or yeast. Giving up was not an option. He returned to the bakery the next day with a ferocious determination. He practiced every single step with meticulous care. Slowly, miraculously, his bread began to improve. After 2 long weeks of intense, grueling training, Mr. Anderson handed Leo a freshly baked loaf. It was golden brown, perfectly risen, and smelled divine. Mr. Anderson, his voice thick with pride. "This is perfect, Leo. You are ready. You have earned this knowledge." Leo was overjoyed. He had paid the highest price for knowledge, his time, his pain, and his refusal to quit. Chapter 7. The Test of Competition. Leo rented a small, simple oven and began baking at home. His family rallied around him. Sophie helped him pack the fresh loaves, and his mother stayed up late, making him tea while he worked. Soon, Leo was selling not just bread, but cookies and pastries too. His business was a huge success. People said, "Leo's bread tastes better than anything we've ever had before. It has heart." But success, as Leo learned, is never the end of the test. One day, a brand new bakery opened in town, run by a competitor named Eric. Eric had a big fancy shop with bright, colorful signs and professional decorations. People were naturally curious, and Leo's sales immediately began to drop. Fear, cold and sharp, gripped Leo. What if he lost everything he had worked for? But Leo did not panic. He stood by his cart, listening. He asked his customers, "What do you like about Eric's shop? What can I do better?" Some said Eric's shop looked clean and modern. Others mentioned his beautifully designed cakes. Leo realized he needed to evolve. He couldn't just be a good baker. He had to be a great businessman too. He took his hard-earned savings and invested them. He painted his old cart, added bright decorations, and stayed up late watching videos to learn how to decorate cakes. Slowly, customer by customer, they returned to him. They didn't return just for the bread, but for Leo's character. An elderly woman summed it up best one evening. "I've seen many young men give up when times get hard, but you didn't. You fought harder. That's why we trust you." Chapter 8. The Ultimate Challenge and the Final Reward. Months passed, and Leo's business, Leo's Fresh Bakes, grew strong. He finally rented a small, warm shop. It wasn't fancy, but it was his. His family worked alongside him, proud and happy. But life wasn't done testing him. One stormy night, as Leo was closing the shop, he saw thick, black smoke billowing from the back. A small electrical fire had started near his oven. He fought the flames, managing to put them out, but much of his vital equipment was severely damaged. The next morning, the town whispered again, "Oh no, this is the end for him." Leo felt heartbroken, but he was no longer defeated. He stood outside his damaged shop and said out loud, "This is just a challenge. I faced struggles before, and I will face this too. I won't give up." He calculated his savings. It was not enough. For a fleeting moment, the old fear crept back in, but then he remembered his entire journey, starting with nothing but a promise and a battered cart. Instead of worrying, Leo reached out. He asked the now retired Mr. Anderson for advice. Mr. Anderson, smiling gently, repeated the truth. "Leo, you already know the answer. You taught yourself that nothing is free. Work harder, believe in yourself, and people will believe in you too." Inspired, Leo started again. He baked at home with the little equipment he had left. He told his customers, "I won't let you down. I'll keep serving you, even if it's just a small amount for now." This time, the townspeople did more than just buy. They admired his unyielding courage. They came to his aid. Some donated ingredients, others gave small amounts of money, and many volunteered their time to help him clean and repair the bakery. Leo realized the final, most important lesson. When you help yourself, when you show effort and persistence, people notice. They want to support someone who fights for their dream. After months of communal effort, Leo reopened his bakery. It was better than ever, a true symbol of hope. On the day of the grand reopening, the town's mayor came and praised him. Leo stood in front of the crowd, his voice full of emotion. I want to thank every single one of you. You have taught me that nothing in life is free, not success, not respect, not love. Everything must be earned with persistence, hard work, and the refusal to let failure stop you. Leo's Bakery became more than just a place to buy bread. It became a symbol of what happens when you decide to pay the full price for your dreams. So, whatever your dream is, whether it is mastering English or starting a business, remember, Leo, don't stop chasing it. Because while nothing is free, when you pay the price in effort, everything becomes possible.